Thanks for being here. We'll start in a seated position so that you can feel the weight of your body through your pelvis, with your pelvis. And inhaling, growing the sense of breath and upward movement through the sacrum, the low back, lifts away from the sacrum. It's almost like we're suffusing the backbones with so much breath, air, that we find an effortless buoyancy. Almost like our very own breath effervesces our body into a softening, blooming, expanding, buoyant motion. Let's find out if we can impart this through the mid-back. So keeping that feeling of gravity and anchor through the pelvis. Feel your breath spreading through the low back and the mid-back. Suffused with this breath, lifts, buoys, expands. The image that comes to mind, at least in my body today, is when we see like a sponge starting to hydrate. There's a volumizing, a soft and effortless expanding as the vacuoles and the tissues just start to take up all of the room, the space that hydration imparts. Now let's do that once more for the upper back and the skull. Feel how breath contacting the upper back and the neck and the skull hydrates, blooms. Okay. So I'm using an analogy like a sponge and water. It's very physical. When we're working with the subtle breath, those principles, they carry through. There is a kind of a hydration, a fullness that breathing into the body imparts. So I just lean into the physical imagery to help me sense the subtle body, the subtler. And when I'm working with bodies, it feels fuller, almost fluffier. It's like a fluid without boundaries, a self-containing, fluffy fluid in and around the body. So how do we open up the body to receive this nourishment of breath and fullness, this hydration? The key is how we focus and how we open. how we feel in and throughout our body. And I mean feel as in the verb of sensing, receiving impressions, not feel as in interpreting data. All right, let's set the right leg out, and however you decide to bend the left knee will be perfectly fine. I think I'll go heel behind hip. I'm just creating a bit of a straddle sensation through the groin. So widening apart the legs. So we're going to take our breath work in this straddle, and then we'll do the other side. Straddle. So I'm going to center my navel right between my thighs, so midpoint between my thighs. So just the way I'm oriented, So I'm placing my fingertips behind my hips. We're going to take some rounds of Uddiyana with our legs in this. One is straightened, one is bent, wide legs. Inhale. Letting breath contribute and enrich the pelvic floor, the lower abdomen, the low back. And then hold the breath. And the holding is almost just letting the body sponge up the breath. So internally we're just lingering in and with our cells, these areas, regions, creases, folds, joints. Bring the hands in front of the thighs, and we'll exhale everything out. Once you feel empty, keeping the feet active, I'm kind of spreading all the toes on both my feet. Draw the belly in. So I'm lifting the mass of my intestines and abdomen up away from the pelvic floor, back toward my core, toward my spine and core, and up. Release. We'll do another on this side. Inhale. So every breath moment can be landing or perceived some way in the body. And as we pause the breathing action, there's still the breathing substance, motion. You'll notice sometimes there's motion without our action. Sometimes there's motion without action. Bring the hands in front of the thighs. Go feet active. Exhale everything out. Remain empty. Drawing in, lifting, gathering. And release. All right. We'll switch the sides of our legs. So we've got the left leg straightened, and you bend the right knee in the best way for your knee. heel in front of hip or heel behind hip. All right. So there's these motions in yoga. There's a couple of different words to refer to how energy, almost like a sand timer, sediments in and down as more deeply beholden to gravity. And then there's another kind of a motion that's less beholden to gravity, more beholden to flight. It's kind of this up and up and up. So the way that I've interpreted the use and the action of gathering and pulling in on this Uddiyana is kind of that anti-sedimenting action. So it's almost like we're pulling the sand from the bottom of the timer and lifting it up. Okay. So let's do a couple. I don't know if that helps, but it is true that with gravity and, that organs and mass and fluids do settle, and they settle around the hips and around the abdomen. So this is kind of interfering with that gravity process. Inhale. And pause as we hold the breath, feeling how the body, the abdomen, the back, the pelvis, the genitals, how that sponging up, that soaking up the breath is occurring. We'll bring the hands in front of the inner thighs, and we'll exhale. Exhale till empty. That might be a moderate exhale, a vigorous exhale. I go pretty swift, just so I have plenty of moments to feel the gathering and the lifting and the drawing up from the bottommost of the body, the perineum, the genitals, the anus, lifting, feeling upward through the core, drawing in the action of in and up. So you might imagine a fountain, a geyser that has the energy to move substance up, away from the earth. And release. Right. And just like matter and substance is beholden to gravity, tends to sink and settle, our mind, right? Our mind is beholden to sedimenting in configurations. So there's a kind of a loosening process. Was that two? Should we do another? All right, we should do another. Here we go. Inhale. We'll hold. Feet active. Exhale. So drawing from the bottom up, from the periphery to the core. All right. So let's release. We're going to do some abdominals. If you want to see, we're going to do a little hybrid version. I want to show it to you first, just in case you need to modify. Sometimes I have fun with these little hybrid moves. So if my left leg is frog and my right leg is straddle, this will create a little bit of a weight asymmetry. So I want to show it to you. If you decide that something feels a little skewed or it's not working out in your low back, you can always come back to a more symmetric pose like frog or straddle. So let's lie on back. All right, so I had a left leg bent as in frog, and the right leg is outreaching like straddle. This asymmetry of weight distribution, I'm hoping it'll help us feel and find the abdominals, kind of right the ship, if you will. But again, if it feels like you're spilling or twisting funny, we just use a prop. A prop under the thigh can be nice. Inhale, we'll float the head and the shoulder blades up. Often that abdominal involvement, just picking the head up, is often sufficient. Exhale, outreach through both legs in these different configurations. Pull low belly in and down. So now we're just breathing in a way it's like inhaling, kind of an abbreviated Uddiyana, a very short, sweet Uddiyana. Exhale, the tailbone shifts, outreaching through the legs, resting the head in the left hand, pull low belly down. We'll do two more like so, and then we'll switch the asymmetry. Inhale. Exhale, outreach. Resting the head in the hand. Lengthening through the abdomen. The legs, the front side of the body. Pull low belly down. Do one more. Inhale. Reaching the hip sockets with breath. And exhale, outreach. Reaching through the forefoot to the ball mounds, the midfoot, the heel. Pull low belly down. Now let's inhale. Bend the right knee, set the head down for a moment. From this frog, we'll switch over to the other side, straightening the left leg. If you need to put a little prop. Sometimes I find it really nice just to use my left hand under my left thigh a little bit. And that gives me a chance to kind of outwardly nudge my leg. Here we go. 4 more on this side. Inhale. Float the head, shoulder blades up off the ground. Exhale. Legs outreach. Pull low belly in and down. All right, 3 more. Here we go. Let's do these on our own. And then inhale, set the head down. Use your hands on the sides of your thighs. Knees bend. Gather them toward midline. All right. I'm going to turn over. And I want to show you another, just a little variation move before we do it, just so you can see. So we often do dolphin and we'll raise a leg up, but I want to show you, and I'm going to have my my backside toward you, just so you can see just how little or how much I'm moving my leg. And I want you to just see, usually we would lift our leg just straight up behind us, which is super valuable. If I reach it a little bit off to one side, it radically changes, or significantly, changes the weight distribution. And then I'll just draw the leg back to our usual outreach place. Okay. So when I'm offering that we can move the leg out to the side, that's what I want you to know or see. Let's set up for dolphin. So we've got the forearm set however we love. And then on exhale, we'll press the knees off the ground. And as you feel that connection to that deep Ujjayi breath, let's start with the left leg. We'll inhale, raise the left leg up and back to that usual place, that right behind our pelvis place. Just because I want you to have a feeling of how that leg moves, how you perceive its reach or its altitude or its place in space. Just give yourself a moment to kind of prehend how that leg is in relation to your body. And I'll watch with you here. So if we make that careful lateral shift, so it'll be left leg, just go inches at a time to your left. It doesn't take a lot to feel a pretty significant change in the dolphin. Oh, you got it. This is great. Take a deep breath. You probably felt a lot more of that arm and that abdominal involvement, I hope. Okay. Now we're going to keep reaching that left leg up. Let's keep it in the air. Bring it back behind your pelvis and find out if you can lift it, raise it, reach it any differently than some moments ago. There you go. Sweet. And then let's set that left foot down. If you need a rest, that's fine. I'm just going to talk right into the other side. So inhaling, we'll take the right leg, lifting it, reaching it back. And just give yourself a breath moment or so to kind of register that leg in space. Yeah, then I'm taking the leg laterally, just a matter of inches at first, right leg to the right. You probably notice a lot of different activity in your right shoulder and abdominals. And then reach that leg straight behind the pelvis, so it finding out if you can lift, reach, or raise that any more strongly or higher. And we'll set that right leg down. We'll set the knees down. Deep breath. These little things that we can do to enhance the way that we support ourselves with our abdominals and our hips and our shoulders. We'll use a wall And I know the arms are getting a lot all at once. We're going to do some let me say that again. Dolphin at the wall or dolphin. Let's try this again. Dolphin at the wall or forearm balance. We'll be working the legs in outreach positions. Okay? So if you're setting up for forearm balance, just make sure to give yourself adequate room for your wingspan. All right, now just roughly talk us in there together. We'll be spending about 4 breaths per side. So we set up the dolphin. Draw the shoulders down to get those chest muscles involved. And pressing the knees up. And once you feel the neck is relaxed, you're connected to conscious, deep breath. Select one leg to step up or reach out. And we'll start to move upside down. So we're separating the legs. One reaching over the front of our body, one reaching over the back side of our body. Oops. And after about 4 or so breaths, we'll switch sides. And to get a few on each of those sides, we'll step down. And we'll get our mat placement away from the wall or wherever you feel free to work. And we'll stand at the top. Inhale, raising, reaching arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale the left foot back. Place the knee down and the top of the left foot down. Lunge. Remain here for one additional breath. Place hands down. Inhaling, keep that top of left foot contacting ground. Exhale, arrow lunge. So that's pressing. And as long as ankle and knee accept that pressure, the knee comes away from the ground. And we'll set that knee down. Inhaling, hands under shoulders. Exhale, step the right foot back. And we'll lower down to the ground. Cobra. Inhale. Pulling, drawing the sternum away from the navel. Exhale, lower. Hands under chest. Downward dog. Inhale the left foot forward lunge. We'll place the right knee down. Taking a couple breaths per pose. And inhaling, bring the hands to the ground, the top of the right foot contacting. Exhale, press. Ankle accepts, knee accepts, reach back. I'm reaching back specifically through the big toe, so I'm getting that inner leg line. Usually has a rich connection to the groin and the sacrum. Release. Now inhale, let's curl those back toes under. Exhale, step forward to fold. Inhale, stand, reach arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll intermittently do some poses standing at the top of our mat, so interspersing our suns with some standing stuff. So tree first. We'll place right foot to inside left thigh. Hands can hold. I'll angle a little bit. Okay, that's one option. Hands to heart is another option. Arms reach overhead is a third option. And the pressure of the right foot, let it help call up more activity from the inner left leg line. And release. Switching sides. Left foot to inner right thigh. Now we've got this great pressure and this activity of inner right leg line. Use the arms overhead, stretch. That buoyancy, right? That lifting. The breath can impart a quality of buoyancy through the body. How to facilitate that is actually not through necessarily an action effort, but by being open to a quality, almost like I'm getting ready to feel that quality with my cells the moment it's registers. And release. All right. Sometimes when we get that inner leg working, we can get that feeling of, wow, I've got more support in my spine to telescopes. Let's try that out. Suns again. Inhale with the arms, reach up. Feel that growing, lifting motion through the low back and the mid back. Exhale, fold. What if I was experiencing all the joints, finding more space through all these moves? Inhale, the right foot back, lunge. Draw the arms up. Top of right foot is on the ground. Exhale, press down through that top of right foot. Arrow lunge, this is the second round. This gives you a chance to play with the hands overhead. Place the knee down softly, hands to ground. Exhale, the left foot back. Lowering belly to earth. Cobra. Inhale. Exhale, lower, hands under chest. Downward dog. Lunge. Inhale the right foot forward. Placing the left knee down. Securing that top of left foot to the ground, just nice firm feeling of contact. And on exhale, press down. Giving ourselves a moment in this arrow lunge. And release. Inhaling, the hands down, the left knee down. Curl the back toes under. Exhale, step forward. 2 fold. Inhale, stand, reach arms up. And the arms reach. Feel the mid-back lifting away from the low back. Exhaling, hands to heart. Let's do a round of standing pigeon. Grab a hold of your left foot with both hands. Okay. Of course, we don't want any funny business in the knee. So if you need to scoop hold the thigh with one hand, that's perfect. And release. Switching sides, right foot, both hands. Now even just getting a little patch of sun on your work, the benefits of that sun heat, it's really marvelous on the mitochondria, the fascia, the extracellular matrix, all the circulation that's happening between the cells. I can't say enough good things about a little bit of yoga and a little bit of sun. All right, release. Chair pose. Inhale, bend knees, reach arms up. Now lifting the upper back away from the low back. Exhale, fold, releasing the neck bones from the upper back bones. Monkey. Inhale, use the hands, push the chest away from the ground and pull the chest away from the lap. Exhaling, step. Lightly jump back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale the right foot forward. We're setting up like an ostrich, interlacing the hands behind the back. And as you're exhaling, deepen the stance. So we did all of that leg apart stuff to get us deep stance ready. So kind of reach in. There's those thighs and the hip crease. Drawing that breath from the hip and low abdomen all the way up to the collar, all the way up to the upper back. And we'll release the hands. Easy twisting warrior. Inhale, plant the left hand down. Exhaling, raise the right arm up. I'm going to still focus right into the collarbone area. So do your best to feel the top third of your sternum. The upper half, the upper third. we'll take these 2 or 3 breaths. What is sensing like? Well, how does that go under the upper sternum? And it's a breath sensing with breath. I just want to make sure we're really clear. Sensing with breath is different than mentalizing with mind or cognition. Good. And then inhale, bring that right hand down. And when we exhale, just drag that left foot forward and we'll have a seat on the ground. We'll be straightening this left leg out. I'm going to spoil the party and let you know that after this Mariyachasana, we're going to practice stepping this left leg and then the right leg back. So we're just putting it in our mind that there's going to be a transition here. But first, the Mariyachasana. Inhale, raise the right arm. Exhale, fold right arm and circles the right shin. Here I latch, latch. Move the shoulder away from the neck. 2 exquisitely deep breaths under the right shoulder blade. All right, release hands. So here's the move. Going to gather or bend this left leg in. Inhale, the hands to the ground. Exhale, step back, downward dog. Inhale the left foot forward, a warrior 1 stance as we interlace the hands behind as if for ostrich. To be clear, we're just getting into the chest part of the ostrich. So we'll just deepen into the stance. So we deepen into the sensation of there's hip, there's the front of the body, there's the collar and the shoulders. If you can go a little deeper in the stance and there's no pain, go for it. So we'll find new ways to support ourselves as we deepen, Yeah, if that left knee bends, go for it. If you can reach through that right leg, it's that kind of the legs working in very different directions. And that gets this tissue, like right here in the abdomen, across the pubic disc, in the hip crease. All this tissue gets moved as we deepen into these wide legs, separate leg stances. Easy twisting warrior, release the hands down. Inhaling the right hand to the ground. Exhaling, left arm to the sky. Now, to say to the sky, just a general cue. Reach up and also arch the chest forward, reaching back. I'm going to focus a couple more breaths into the upper third of the sternum. Mariyachasana. Inhale, bring the left hand down. I'm just going to drag, scooch, slide this right leg forward. having a seat. Straightening the right leg out, inhaling the left arm up. Exhale, fold, reach, and circle. And inhaling, unwind. I'm going to draw this right leg back under. Hands to ground. Exhale, we're stepping back, downward dog. This last week or weekend, they all feel like weekends now. We've been doing a lot of that ekapada and the shins on the arms, so just kind of touching into familiar territory. Right. Inhale, let's step or lightly jump the feet forward, monkey. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. Inhale, bend knees, reach arms up, overhead, and then stand. Exhale, hands to heart. Some standing poses. Right hand, right foot, standing alternate twist. Inhaling, I'm lifting the chest up. Exhaling, reaching that left arm back. Use all the inner legs. So on that left leg, remember how you were able to get that inner left leg in tree pose? Find that. That inner right leg, press into the hand. And really bend, set that down. Left side. Inhale and pick up that left foot. The big toe ball mound as you press out. If you keep focusing and feeling like a little apex of push from that big toe ball mound, there's a pretty good chance you'll be working with that inner left leg. The inner legs are so that you can turn and start to spiral and, I use the word defrag, the middle back and the upper spine bones. Defrag, right, to kind of decouple, to make more distinct, to individuate all those little spine bone moves as you're turning. The twist is helping to find that individual articulate movement through that upper back. Inhale, we'll come back, we'll set the feet down. Exhaling, hands to heart. Inhale, chair. Exhale, fold. Soften eyes, neck releases from the upper back. Monkey, inhale, the hands push. So chest lifts away from thumb tips and pull, chest lifts away from the lap. Exhale, step back. You could jump back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Inhale, the left foot forward. Warrior one. We're taking the arms into eagle. Exhaling the left elbow over the right elbow. Again, deepen into the stance. Let those legs, they're getting much warmer and open. Let them start to help support you in deeper and deeper stances. Even if you can't go into a pose because of some joint pain, you can still work the musculature in the range that you can be in, pain-free. The muscles working is a great way to bring blood through all the spaces, and the areas. And emu, we take these folded up arms, hinging to the inside of the left thigh. Carefully adjust your visual reference, steadying points, as you carefully release the neck. And release the hands, inhaling, setting them about shoulder width apart underneath. We'll place the right knee down softly. Good time to grab extra padding if you need that for your knee. And we'll be slithering into an addition of splits. So we're going to give that wiggle walk. I'm going to press pretty vibrantly through that back leg. So it's not just like a limp leg. Put a little, a little zest. One, it's protective. And two, it lets you work with the muscles and the ligament. And it gives you a way to feel all the way to the bone. You follow the softer red tissue into the kind of more stalwart white tissue, all the way into the more ossified bone tissue. Inhale, gather that left heel in a little bit. Okay. Now, while the left leg is still straightened, engage the leg strongly. And I have no intention of us lifting the foot off the ground physically. There's no need for us to elevate the leg, but you can certainly exert an effort as if lift left leg up. So we're going to do that. It's a hip flexor move. Exert as if lifting heel up. And then just kind of release it. We'll try it a few times. What happens is more weight goes into your hands for a moment, so kind of reaching that leg out and then exerting a lifting motion. And then releasing. We'll do it one more time. It's a hip flexor move. Exert, like I want to lift my shin to my chin. And release. Inhale, we'll walk this left foot back. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale the right foot forward, warrior one stance. And we'll be bringing the arms into eagle. This is right elbow over left elbow. Now, the more I deepen into my stance, the lower I am to the ground. This can feel safer. Emu hinging at the waist. Adjusting your visual steadying points. Relaxing the neck. release. When we set the hands down, we'll place the left knee down. Now's a good time for cushion as we move into splits. Setting the right leg, walking the right leg forward. I'm going to draw this foot back a little bit. Again, I have no intention for us to elevate the foot, but we're going to exert a lifting effort, a hip flexor effort. So, inhaling, exert a lifting action as if you might lift your thigh to your ribs. And release. Notice this might ease you in. This might adjust your position, your splits a little bit. We'll do it twice more. So inhaling down into the pelvis and exert a lifting action. You notice you have to press down through that back foot. And release. And once more, inhale, exert a lifting. And release. Right, inhale. We'll walk that right foot back. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, step or lightly jump feet forward, monkey. Exhale, fold. Chair. Inhale, bend knees, reach arms up. Stand. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, there's another set of standing poses. So that standing twist, this time, crossing over our body, right hand grabs the outer edge of left foot. Right hand to left foot. Okay. And just because I have the prop here, I'll show you my body. I can't show you the prop, but I can show you my body. I do have a ledge, like countertop, something like that. It's 36 inches. And it's, for my body, is like a perfect, put it out, reach it out. Okay. Sometimes I just split up my pose time using the prop. Just 100% just putting that foot onto a wall or a ledge or a little counter edge. I was working it as a standing twist. I find that has a lot of salience. For how my legs and my twist feel. Okay, we're going to release, switch sides. So if you always find yourself gravitating toward a wall for these single leg things, it's just another way to play. I would say use a wall, but there's generally some interpretation of the foot under us that We're usually not standing on the foot. And release. All right. We're going to do a tiny little move to that exact same pose. So let me just, it's going to look unremarkably the same in that my right hand grabs my foot just like we did on the first side. And I'm going to exert that lifting up action. Remember that how I tried to lift my leg toward my, okay? And then, as I'm lifting, I'm going to let the hand go. And then come what may. It might be that the leg just drips down to the ground. That's okay. So I'll talk us in. So same standing twist. My right hand will grab the left foot. Work it just as you had. Okay. And start to exert that lifting action, that hip flexor. It's not a hand action. It's a shin to chin action. Like I want to pull my leg up into the sky and then let the hand go. Let the foot go. There you go. And we'll set that foot down. Sometimes it's a surprise on the leg muscles. We'll trade sides. It's just for fun. There's a nice little Ashtanga correlate where you just lift the leg up. It's raucous fun. Everyone grabs their quads and All right. Left hand, right foot. Pressing that leg out. Exert the action of lift. And we'll just set that right leg down. All right. When we have a seat, we'll be playing with some elephant. We haven't done elephant and crippled sage pose in a while. Astavakrasana. Nope. It's been so long I've forgotten the Sanskrit. Let's play with elephant first. So, first things first, I'll often divvy this up into a couple main segments. One is the leg over the arm. And this may be a valuable place to play so that you have the practice of arm nudging back, which can be a real stretch for the thigh butt. Okay. And then two, one way you can work this is raise the left leg. I'm sitting on the ground. And then when you're willing to put all your weight on your hands, we can float the butt up. So push and foot floats. All right. So let's do the right side, and we'll take a little moment before we do the left side. So I'll just kind of outline my right thigh, right arm. So a first option might just be holding this leg in place, kind of helping it get open enough to clamp and lock onto the arm. If you have any shoulder or trapezius concerns, this is a good place to play with where's the best, strongest position for my shoulder. This gives you a lot of shoulder work to do here. So it's really valuable for shoulders. Okay. Two is I still don't want to put a lot of weight on my wrists, so I practice elevating the left leg. I lift it up to my chin. And I'm still sitting, but I'm going to breathe You're going to breathe. I'm going to breathe. And then, of course, the floating option is pushing the butt up and reaching that leg out. There you go. Yes. If you find yourself rocking to get up, yes, it's a gathering through the front side. Instead of rocking forward, think gather bottom to top. See if that helps. And find something you can sustain for 3 breaths. So if it's the arm pressure, the hand pressure, the float, just sustain, breathe. And release. Take a moment. We'll get ready to switch sides. And let's switch sides. We get the left leg over the left arm. Watch you fear. There you go. There it is. All right. Release. So I know this isn't the pose of elephant, but I found it valuable in terms of getting lots of the qualities that are desirable to support a lot of these hand balancing pose is as I'm pushing, it's almost like I draw heel to heel. And there's something in just letting my heel be on the ground, dragging it, that just seems to help with the whoop, just kind of whoop, pulling it's that curling the tailbone move that we so often do in our abdominals. If you want to give it a try, that's fine. If you want to bypass it, that's fine. It does take a little bit of So I'm pushing. Maybe I'm almost ready to lift off the ground. But maybe if I just pull heel to heel, I actually do move off the ground a half inch. And even though my heel's down, I can breathe here. I can start to let my nervous system and my breath process, oh my gosh, I'm here. Now, we're going to remain seated, and we'll do a I keep messing that up. We'll say crippled sage pose. And I'm going to suggest that we do this with block, with elevation, so that we can be lighter on the wrists. So I've got a set of blocks right here. Let me do it this way. Boop. So I'm going 2 blocks high. So if I'm sitting, it's just like I'm sitting on a stoop. And I'm going to put the side of my right cheek down. And I'm first just getting that left arm down to the ground. That might be the move. This is a pretty deep fold. Tuck that left arm under that left thigh. Get the hands to the ground. And I want you to be really careful, because sometimes we start to push or shove with our feet. I don't want you to have these blocks going, flinging all over the place. But I do want you to see, I'm kind of side hip sitting on these blocks. I've crossed. And I squeeze. Okay. So give a try on one side. The squeezing of the legs both straightens the legs and gets the legs to float out to the side. So all that inner leg stuff we did today, it's not for naught. Here you go. So we switch sides. So again, stage it right up to the place where it starts to get a little fuzzy. Sometimes fuzzy is procedural fuzzy. I don't know what to do next. Sometimes fuzzy is I'm not feeling any, I don't know what to push or move or where to make the effort. Go right up to the fuzz and just start to breathe in. So if I just sit back and go, I'll wait for a pose I can do, we're not getting the best out of our moments in terms of learning and progressing. So I tuck, so I'm doing the other side here. I'm on my left side hip. Okay? And I tuck the right arm under the right thigh. And if tucking, getting that folded, that compressed is challenging, then compress as far as you can and start to breathe there. So maybe I don't even get my hand to the ground. It feels really compressive and I don't know if I can go any further. That's the fuzz. Breathe right there. I get a hand down. And I cross my left ankle over my right ankle. My feet are on the ground. I'm sitting on my left butt cheek. My hands are on the ground. Now I can start to kind of push my heels out to the right. Maybe that's as far as I'm going psychologically. So I'd breathe right there. Maybe I can squeeze my legs a little bit more. Oh my gosh, I start to feel my heels lifting off the ground, and then stay with it. Neither accelerate nor run from it. It's a really great place to be in those quaky, uncertain parts of the posture. You're safe. Your hands are on the ground. Your butt's on blocks. We're sitting on the brink of floating. And release. So we're going to sit on the ground once we're through. And as we lie back, there's a move. We're going to lie on back and raise the legs toward the sky. So right now, just a little context here. This is a wonderful move for I've actually will do this pose for a long time if there's swelling somewhere, and it's really cool to see the swelling change. So there is a lot of fluid circulatory, right, and just putting our legs up. And remember that sedimenting, the fluids kind of move with gravity. They start to go toward the venous return. Now, second, pardon me, let me back up here. My mind and my mouth aren't working in the same gearbox. This is option one. It's a wonderful option. It's just holding and keeping the legs up. Option two is we're moving into plow. Now, plow could be any form of lying fold. I want you to play with what feels right on your spine and your neck. Okay? But plow is the toes might get to the ground above your head. And then we'll unwind for Shavasana. And allow your breath to relax the technique. Right? The technique is an action, it's a guidance, it's an effort. We use it as a magnifying device. An intensifying device. And as we relax the technique, so we're simply breathing as the body most easily will breathe. We can attune to the way the body both settles, relaxes, and lightens. So you can attune to both the effervescent, buoyant qualities of the body. We were talking earlier, that fullness and that lightness, that almost fluffy upsurge in the body. As we're opening up to the descent, there's something that feels gravity. It goes with gravity. It's a softening, it's a relaxing, it's a deepening. And we might attune to one of these motions more than the other, but we'll just try, we'll play. Can we hold them both simultaneously? And I'll just give you one image before I let us just rest quietly with this practice. As I'll sometimes use the image of a sparkling, like a mineral sparkling water. There's mass to the water, but within the water there's this kind of bubbling quality. Something is light enough to move, to open toward the sky, and some of it is open enough to descend and to give to gravity, to earth. And when you're ready, we'll bend knees. Turn to a side and press. To seated. So wonderful you're here. Happy New Year. Namaste.